Hey there, and welcome to today's movement exercise, or it's more of a corrective exercise for somebody who's looking to not only strengthen their core, but get a little bit more utility out of the functioning aspect of their abdominal cavity, whether that's for flexion, extension, or rotation purposes. What I really like about this little sequence I'm going to take you through is it allows people to get their spine flat to the floor. All right, so you're not going to have to worry about any sort of reactive or gripping of like the subconscious mind, like protecting the body at all. You're going to feel like you have a lot of control of both your extremities, but really your abdominal thoracic cavity. Okay, for this, all you need is a wall. We're actually going to use the wall today. Just like some of our standing work, we use something called ground reaction force. When you kind of slide the feet in opposing directions to engage the legs in different ways. We're going to do the same thing using the wall, and all this is going to allow you to do is feel the way in which your core can bridge the connection from your legs to your arms, or from your hip capsules to your shoulder capsules. And so I'll do this as a warm-up. I think it's great if you're somebody who is experiencing back pain and knee pain, and a lot of standing strengthening exercises are like you're not quite there yet. This is a really good one to do, especially because most people have access to a wall, and the cueing is a little bit simpler. When we get into some standing and walking variation corrective exercises, it can be tricky if you're not pretty body-centric with yourself. So anyways, I'm going to take you through this. My head might get cut off in the video, but that's fine. You're going to be able to hear me the entire time, and that's going to allow you to listen for what it is you're doing. So what I want you to start with is come to a 90-90 position, okay? So 90-90 being hips and knees at 90 degrees, okay? So here I am, and hopefully you can see. Yeah, it looks like you can. I'm at about 90-degree flexion in my hip, 90 degrees in the back of my knee. Okay, so that's the first thing you want to take care of. The biggest error is people will be down here, okay, or people are going to be up here. All right, so do your best to either use a mirror or ask someone you live with and be like, hey, do my knees look like they're at 90 degrees? That's going to be important for the utilization of the quad and hamstring muscles. All right, so first thing I'll do is I just kind of lay here, and I'll do 2 to 4 minutes of deep diaphragm breathing. Okay, so you'll breathe in and you'll breathe out, and you'll continue with this pattern. And I want you to start to get in touch with your lower abdominal, or your navel specifically, your belly button. And just notice how it surges up and down, kind of like a wave. So you breathe in, it rises. When you breathe out, it falls. All right. From there, you're going to start to press into your feet. Okay, now you want to feel like your entire spine is being pushed into the ground. Okay? After that, you're going to take your arms up over your shoulders towards the ceilings and relax your hands. So my elbows are straight, but my hands are soft. This is going to allow your scapula to also kind of drop towards the floor. And if you want, you can give it a little press into the ground. I'm not pinching my shoulder blades. I'm dropping them. Okay? And start to breathe. Now I'm pressing into my feet still. All right, when you're ready, keeping your shoulders plugged down, you're going to breathe in, take your hands about 2/3 of the way back, and then exhale. I want you to sink your rib cage first, and then let your arms move forward. So I'll do that again. You're going to breathe in, take the arms back, and then exhale the ribs first, and then your arms follow. All right, maybe one more time. All right, then I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to extend my hands, so kind of like I have dinner plates on each palm. And then gently just think about pressing your shoulders out through the sides. You might even take the hands a little bit wider. All right, now make fists and start with a couple circles. So the idea is we're lubricating the shoulder joint a little bit. Go in the other direction. All right, and then fingertips towards the ceiling, pressing into the feet. First thing I want you to do, you're going to breathe in as you start to hover your right foot off the wall and take your right arm back behind you. And then I'm going to exhale everything forward. So again, I breathe in. I'll do the other side. So whichever leg is on the wall is pushing hard. Okay, so I'm trying to engage my quadricep to extend the knee. And then you'll get some of the other leg muscles working because the action is trying to extend the hip. But we'll talk about that another time. Now, if I wanted to make this a little bit more advanced, I would hover my right foot off the wall, take my right arm to a T, left arm back behind me. I'll do the same thing on the other side. Good. I'll take the arms back and exhale them forward. This time only lift your heels off the wall. Start to engage your calves a bit more. Do that same sequence again. So I'm going to do the arms back. All right, I'm going to do a foot hover with the arms. And this is just a different way to engage the lower leg a little bit more. All right, both feet come to the wall. Pause. Next, I want you to lift your heels. Start to hover your feet off the wall and breathe. If this is hard for you, bring your palms down. Push your hands down so hard that your elbows lift up and your triceps start to burn. Bring the feet back to the wall. All right, crawl your feet up a couple of inches. Press into your feet, let your butt come up. Okay, now my butt's up because I'm pressing into my legs. I don't want you to squeeze your coccyx. I don't want your anus, pelvic floor muscles tight. So try to avoid the tucking of your tailbone here. All I'm doing is I'm pressing my knee into my ankle. Pause. Start to lift one leg up towards the ceiling. You're going to flex and extend that ankle. All right, left leg is working. Eventually I'm going to do rotations with my right ankle. All right, if you wanted to make it a little bit harder, you would just take your right hand up towards your foot and protract that shoulder off the ground. Good, you're going to bring them down to the floor. Now do the other side. So I'm up, I flex, extend. All right, another thing is get your knees in one line. Do some rotations. If you want that difficulty, just protract the shoulder off the ground. And go ahead, come down. Come back to the floor. Make sure your low back is flat, navel is retracted and down. Take your hands up, peel the feet off the wall and breathe. Now in this position, you want to make sure that the abdominal cavity, the lower belly isn't coning up. Okay, so we don't want to be pressing the inguinal ligament towards the ceiling. You actually want to create that intra-abdominal pressure to keep the stomach down, pressing the lumbar column or the base of the spine into the floor. All right, feet come down. Now all I want you to do, extend your right leg up, flex the foot. Okay, take your left hand up, shoulder blades are still down. You're going to breathe in. Heel to wall, hand back, exhale. So all I'm doing right now is I consider this more, this is like neural fascial mobilizing, okay? There's a kinetic chain from the front of my right hip that connects to the front of my left shoulder, and I'm just encouraging a little bit of length and then contraction to it. That's all I'm doing here. and I'll do the other side. I'm doing it in a way that is going to allow my spine to feel safe. And if my spine feels safe, my nervous system is not going to react to what I'm doing. All right, and again, the spine feels safe because I'm in a supine position on the floor. Good. Okay, in between I like to do my bug holds, or my reverse tabletop, but bug holds is what I call this. All right, gently feel your heels press out. All right, if you want a little bit more work, hands flat, straighten your legs up, and then all you're going to do is take one heel to the wall and then the other. Okay, I'm squeezing my quads here. My knee is really, really straight or extended. All right, and then same thing. You don't want to let the stomach cone up. All right, but if you can't keep straight legs here, I don't even want you doing this last one. Okay, then I finish with a little bit of rocking side to side. I'll do some circles on my sacrum. All right. And then the last thing we're going to do, and this is to prep you for walking or standing, but really walking. Push your hands down, elbows are lifted. All you're going to do is march. 1 foot off the wall at a time. Now when I'm marching, I want to keep my pelvis from shifting or tilting around. I want to keep my throat muscles from gripping. I want to make sure my rib cage isn't compressing down and my shoulders are flying up. All right. This is going to help strengthen, but also just build the neurokinetic response of the transverse abdominis of the side that has the foot down. Okay. Second thing you'll notice is I'm not bringing my knee like towards my chest when I do this. Okay, if anything, think of your knee as getting closer to the ceiling, and just let the foot come 1 inch off the wall. Okay, you do not need to do a lot to feel this. All right. So I feel like I took you through a lot there. Again, one of the most important things to do is just like when you're doing the movement, feel like your spine is flat against the floor the entire time, and you really want to make sure whichever foot is on the wall, you got to keep it pressing, okay? Because that's going to keep the quad responding in a way that it's doing its job, okay? If your foot that's on the wall is just kind of hanging out there and you're like thinking of other things, it's not going to go over well because your hip flexor is going to grip on, like, or maybe your jaw, like you gotta get you gotta get your quads working. It's just like you gotta do it. So I think of this as more of like a meditation. It's a movement ritual. It's something that's going to help you get you where you want to be in a way that doesn't involve quite as much coaching. Obviously, like when I'm working with somebody, or even when a trainer is working with me, like I do a lot of like standing work or walking work, so gait analysis and more applied functional movement based on standing positions. And when you're working with like chronic pain, or even if you're somebody who's again not so body centric, it can be tricky doing that stuff alone, because all of a sudden, like your knee is like shifting anteriorly, so then you get shearing here, but you don't have somebody watching you. This is a really simple feedback mechanism routine. Okay, you use the wall, you get to know your breath and how it's functioning in the throughout the diaphragm and the thoracic cage, and you just spend a little bit of time. Whether it's in your office or it's at home, I don't really care where it is, but you spend a little bit of time getting to know, okay, this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like to push into something with my leg and get my quad to work. This is what it feels like to keep my scapula on the ground, but still start to head into shoulder flexion, okay? And once you master these basics, you can start to progress. But the first thing is to really know where you are so that you can figure out how to get to the next level versus just being like, I'm here and I want to go there. And it's like, yeah, but you don't even know how to engage your quad yet. But I'll save that for another conversation. I hope this serves a purpose for you. I want to remind you to train, with purpose and with intention. Like Naudi Aguilar of Functional Pattern says, is like train intentionally, not habitually. I like that. I like that mantra of paying attention to your movement, and you will actually get a lot more out of your health and your body if you do that. So I hope you like it. Thank you. Bye.